Part 137. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1361. Chapter 1361. It doesn't have much status in her heart. If you had known she was an ungrateful white-eyed wolf, you might as well have thrown her into an orphanage. It doesn't matter whether she lives or lives in the future. Xiaoruhe was stunned for a few seconds, frowned and said, "You mean, an Xin is hospitalized because of Mian? If not her, who else?" Lin Huijin gritted her teeth in anger. "The good daughter you raised is now going to sit on top of us and dominate us." "How is that possible?" Xiaoruhe directly denied it. "Is there some misunderstanding? How could Mian be so angry with an Xin that she was hospitalized? You just said that Mian found her biological parents. Are you telling the truth? How can this be false? She has already acknowledged her relationship, and you still don't know about it? It seems that your adoptive father has no place in her heart, and she didn't tell you such an important thing." "That's right, people are now but the daughter of the Bai family. How can she look down on us?" "The Bai family," Xiaoruhe said with disbelief on his face, "are Mian's biological parents from the Bai family. It was someone from the Bai family who gave Xiao Mian to you. Don't you know who her biological parents are?" At that time, her parents' surname was not Bai. Xiaoruhe was stunned for a while before coming back to his senses. "My boss's surname used to be Cheng. Could it be that, has he changed his surname now?" "Your surname is Cheng." Lin Huijin's face changed slightly. "Is it possible that Xiao Mian is not the daughter of the Bai family?" "But that's not right. An Xin said that the paternity test she did was done with Xiao Mian's blood, and the results came out Xiao Mian and Mrs. Bai are biological mother and daughter." "What did you say? How can I do a paternity test?" Lin Huijin met Xiaoruhe's doubtful eyes and realized that she had just spilled the beans. She immediately covered it up. "It's nothing. In short, your precious daughter has now become the daughter of the Bai family, and she has known her biological parents without telling you. Why didn't she tell you? Is it because she was afraid that you would stop her? Don't let her go back. Now that she has the Bai family to rely on, she has bullied an Xin miserably. Old Xiao, are you just going to watch her bully an Xin? Angzan is your biological daughter. Are you going to let her be bullied by Xiao Mian? Xiaoruhe looked a little ugly, and after a while he said, "Why does she want to bully an Xin? Of course it's because she feels that Angzan has robbed Suzy, so now she wants to take revenge on Angzan. She was obviously the one who fell in love with a richer man and insisted on breaking up with Suzy. Could it be because she dated Suzy? Can an Xin not date Suzy anymore? She found someone to ban Angzan, and now she hired someone to spread rumors on the internet to smear Angzan. Angzan just couldn't stand so many people scolding her, so she got mad." Xiaoruhe pursed her lips and looked at Xiao Angzan, who was still lying unconscious on the bed, and her face darkened little by little. Asterisk. Xiao Mian had just taken off her makeup, changed clothes, and walked out of the crew dressing room when she received a call from Xiaoruhe. She looked at the caller ID and hesitated for a few seconds before picking up. "Dad." The entire call lasted less than a minute. Then, Xiaoruhe hung up the phone. Xiao Mian stared at the phone screen for a while, stunned. She pursed her lips and stood there for a while before turning and walking towards the parking lot. "Young madam." The driver saw her and greeted her respectfully. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1362. Chapter 1362. Come out with me. I have something to ask you. Xiao Mian nodded. After getting in the car, she sent a message to Bai Yusheng. Mrs. Bai cooked again in the evening and asked her and Bai Yusheng to go over and eat. "Uncle Zhao, don't go home yet. Go to the hospital." Xiao Mian turned to look out the car window, Thinking of what Jiaoruhe had just said on the phone, her eyes dimmed. Okay, madam. Asterisk. Half an hour later, outside the hospital gate. Jiao Mian got out of the car, put on a mask, and walked into the hospital lobby. After entering the elevator, she pressed the floor that Father Jiao told her. There were several female nurses in the elevator. When Jiao Mian entered, she heard them discussing, "Have you seen today's Weibo hot searches? Today's melons are so big. I've been browsing all day and I can't stop." The relationship between Jiao Mian and Jiao Angzhen you are talking about? I have been reading this all day long. I really didn't expect the plot to turn like this. Fortunately, I thought Jiao Angzhen was good before, but I didn't expect that she would be such a disgusting person. You think she's good, that's because the company has created a good personality for her. Artists these days are all the same on the surface, but they're the same privately, so don't trust them too much. I heard that Jiao Angzhen was sent to our hospital. She was said to be in a coma when she was sent here. She must have committed suicide due to a shock. After such an incident, her acting career is over. No matter how she tries to clear her name, she can't clear her name. Hey, do you think the men these days are all good-looking shit? I think that Jiao Mian is very beautiful, like a fairy, much prettier than Jiao Angzhen. But Suzy is still the same, cheating on Jiao Angzhen. The flowers at home are not as fragrant as wildflowers. No matter how beautiful the woman around you is, it can't stop a man from wanting to go out and eat shit. A few people were talking enthusiastically, but no one noticed Jiao Mian at all. Until Jiao Mian's floor arrived first, she walked out of the elevator. Only then did several nurses realize that there was another person in the elevator. Hey, do you think that woman just now looks familiar? I also think it looks familiar, as if I've seen it somewhere. It looks familiar. Let me think about it. The woman just now, I remember it. Don't you think she looks like Jiao Mian? Asterisk. The high-end VIP ward where Jiao Angzhen lives? Jiao Mian walked outside the ward and knocked on the door. Come in. Jiao Ruhe's voice came from the ward. Jiao Mian opened the door and walked in, seeing Jiao Ruhe and Lin Huijin sitting beside the hospital bed. As soon as she saw her, Lin Huijin gritted her teeth and hated her to the core. Jiao Mian, you are here. Jiao Mian ignored her and walked straight towards Jiao Ruhe. As she walked in front of Jiao Ruhe, she stopped and called out softly, "Dad." Jiao Ruhe looked a little more haggard than before, and his complexion was not very good. Jiao Ruhe did not respond to her immediately. After he adjusted the quilt for Jiaoan, who was lying on the hospital bed, he raised his head and glanced at Jiao Mian, and said in a calm voice, "You're here." Well, Jiao Mian thought of the last quarrel, and looked at Jiao Ruhe's current cold expression, and she felt a little sour in her heart. "Dad, have you been in poor health these days?" "It's just the same, there's nothing good about it." Jiao Ruhe looked at her again and stood up. "Come out with me, I have something to ask you." After finishing speaking, he walked out of the ward first. Jiao Mian lowered her head and looked at Jiao Angzhen, who had not yet woken up. After a few seconds, she turned around and followed Jiao Ruhe out. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1363. Chapter 1363. Is it all my fault? When passing by Lin Huijin gritted her teeth and glared at her. Jiao Mian just pretended not to see him and followed Jiao Ruhe outside the ward. Asterisk. In the long corridor, Jiao Mian reached out and closed the door of the ward. She looked at Jiao Ruhe standing in front of her, walked over, and called out softly, "Dad." Jiao Ruhei turned around. Father and daughter have not seen each other for a long time. Because of the previous conflict, there was no contact during the period. Both of them had some element of anger. Seeing Jiao Ruhei's face that looked a little more haggard than before, Jiao Mian felt a little sad and worried. She was silent for a while before she said, "Dad, how are you doing these days? I heard Aunt Lin said that you are sick. Have you been to the hospital? What did the doctor say?" After such a long time, the resentment and anger at that time have long since disappeared. Jiao Mian was grateful to Jiao Ruhei in her heart. She is not Jiao Ruhei's biological daughter. But Jiao Ruhei was pretty good to her. In the early years, he also loved her and Jiao Chen very much. Later, Jiao's mother passed away and he married Lin Huijin and then began to neglect her and Jiao Chen. But he has fulfilled his responsibilities as a father. It's just the same, why should I see a doctor? After not seeing each other for a while, Jiao Ruhei found that his eldest daughter had changed a lot. Jiao Mian had a wonderful birth before. No matter who saw her, they would praise him for having a daughter who looked like a fairy. Jiao Mian is even more beautiful now than before. Although the facial features are still the same, there is no change, but the whole person feels more amazing than before. Even when he saw it, his eyes lit up. Her dressing style is also different from before. The clothes on her body are still simple in style, but it can be seen that they are all very good clothes. Her eyes are also brighter than before. Jiao Ruhei couldn't help but feel a little chilled for a moment when he thought about what Lin Huijin said, and his eyes also showed disappointment. The daughter he raised single-handedly. Even if she is not his biological daughter, he knows that his daughter is definitely not the kind of person who clings to power. Therefore, he felt that Jiao Mian could not have told him about her return to the Bai family because she was afraid that he would prevent her from recognizing her relatives. But if she really recognized her biological parents but didn't tell him about it, Jiao Ruhei would feel very hurt. "What's going on with your sister?" Jiao Ruhei thought of the unconscious Jiao Angzhen and frowned. "Do you have any misunderstandings? We are all a family. If there are any misunderstandings, we can't sit down and explain them clearly. Does it have to be like this? Now, your sister hasn't woken up yet. Mian, even if you and an Xin are not biological sisters, you grew up together and are both my Jiao Ruhei's daughters. Don't you have any feelings for her? What kind of misunderstanding could lead to such a serious situation? Are you still blaming Angzhen for being with Suzy? Do you think Angzhen stole Suzy?" Jiao Mian raised her head with disbelief and hurt in her eyes. "Dad, is this how you miss me?" She couldn't believe that Father Jiao would say such a thing. His words and expressions are all showing favoritism to Jiao Angzhen. "You think I'm not good enough to Jiao Angzhen and don't treat her like a sister? Do you think it's my fault that she's in the hospital now?" Jiao Mian's heart felt colder every time she said a word. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1364. Chapter 1364. Don't forget, you grew up in Jiao's family. It is normal for parents to be partial. There is never a truly level bowl of water. However, what Jiao Ruhei did at this time still made her feel very chilled. He blamed all his faults on her alone. He never thought about whether Jiao Angzhen had done something wrong. Jiao Ruhei's expression changed when he met Jiao Mian's hurt gaze. Later, he realized that he seemed to have said the wrong thing. But he was very dissatisfied with Jiao Mian's attitude. Thinking again of what Lin Huijin said, I wondered if Jiao Mian's current attitude was because she already looked down on him. She recognized her biological parents. Now she is the daughter of the Bai family. The gap between the Jiao family and the Bai family is more than 100 times 1,000 times. It is normal for her to look down on his incompetent adoptive father now. As he thought about it, Jiao Ruhe felt that his self-esteem had been hit. His face darkened. Is this the way you talk to your elders? Are you questioning me? Jiao Mian, do you feel that now that you have recognized your biological parents, I, as your adoptive father, are just like me in your eyes? It's nothing. Don't forget, you grew up in Jiao's family. So what if you are the daughter of the Bai family? Do you want to put on airs in front of me with this status? I won't accept your behavior. Jiao Mian was stunned for a few seconds. Looking at Jiao Ruhe's face that was red with anger, her heart felt as if she had instantly fallen into an ice cellar. From the inside out, my whole heart felt cold. Jiao Ruhe still looked very angry. If you want to recognize your biological parents, I will not stop you. Over the years, I have been asking about your parents, but there has been no news. But why do you want to? Even your Aunt Lin knew about this without telling me, and I was still kept in the dark. Are you planning not to tell me for the rest of your life? Are you so afraid that I will stop you from recognizing your parents? Jiao Mian remained silent the whole time. It wasn't until Jiao Ruhe finished speaking that she loosened her clenched fingers, curled her lips, and said with mocking eyes, Dad, it turns out that this is who I am in your heart. I am ungrateful and cruel. He disrespected his father and put his sister in the hospital. You raised a blind-eyed daughter like me. Do you regret taking over from me? I don't want to say more about Jiao Angzhen. Just think of me as a white-eyed wolf. I don't have a sister like her. Only Jiao Chen and you are my family. As for the others, I really don't treat them as family. Of course, they have never treated me as family. We are just each other. As for my biological father and mother, it's not that I intentionally hid it from you. We had already discussed it and would talk to you about it at some time, but now. Also, the fact that I recognized my biological parents is not what you think. I never wanted to hide it from you, I always wanted to tell you. But I guess you won't believe anything I say now. In your heart, you have already decided that I am a white-eyed wolf. Jiao Ruhe frowned. I thought this time would be a pleasant meeting. At least it wouldn't be as bad as the last time. It seems that I was wrong. Jiao Mian curled her lips in a self-deprecating tone. If it's just for Jiao Angzhen's sake, I'm coming, then I have nothing to say. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1365. Chapter 1365, Repaying a Favor? You do not deserve. Dad, I have something else to do. I'm leaving first. Jiao Mian didn't want to say a word anymore. She felt very tired. Even though she knew that it must be Lin Huijin who was stirring up trouble again, and Father Jiao would say these words, she still felt very chilled. Lin Huijin's success in provoking this shows that Father Jiao himself had had such thoughts. Otherwise, if he believed her, he would not believe what Lin Huijin said. This is not the first time something like this has happened. When she was still living in the Jiao family, Lin Huijin often provoked the relationship between their father and daughter. The relationship between her and Jiao Ruhe later became worse and worse, all because of Lin Huijin's repeated instigations. The first few times, Jiao Mian was willing to explain. Later, she didn't even want to explain. Just like now. She can explain it clearly. However, she felt that there was no need to explain. Jiao Mian, stop. The door to the ward was pushed open with a bang, and Lin Huijin walked out of it with an angry look on her face. Do you want to just leave like this? You haven't settled the matter of peace of mind, so you are not allowed to leave. With Jiao Ruhe here, Lin Huijin's attitude was very arrogant. She rushed over and reached out to hold Jiao Mian's arm, preventing her from leaving. Her voice was loud and sharp, as if she had been stepped on. You are not allowed to leave until an Xian's affairs are settled today. Let go. The moment she caught him, Jiao Mian's face suddenly changed. He turned around and looked at her with cold eyes. Lin Huijin met her gaze and was startled, and actually felt a little fearful. But with Xiao Ruhe beside her, she straightened her back and shouted exaggeratedly, "Why are you so cruel? I am your elder. Have you ever treated your elder like this? Are you now the daughter of the Bai family? She's a young lady, and even her elders don't care about her anymore. Xiao Mian, don't forget who raised you. It's time for you to repay your kindness." Xiao Mian looked at Lin Huijin's mouth that opened and closed. Her anger was almost reaching its limit. She took a deep breath, looked directly at Lin Huijin with disgust in her eyes, and said word by word, "Repay the favor? You don't deserve it." "You," Lin Huijin became angry and raised her hand to hit her in the face. How could Xiao Mian make her wish come true? Lin Huijin's hand was still in the air when she intercepted it. She grabbed Lin Huijin's hand and slapped Lin Huijin on the face with her backhand. With a pop sound, 5 fingerprints were instantly thrown out on Lin Huijin's face. After Xiao Mian slapped her, he reached out and pushed her away. Lin Huijin staggered back 2 steps. If Xiao Ruhe hadn't supported her, she would have fallen to the ground. She covered her face and raised her head, her eyes full of disbelief and anger. "Xiao Mian, I am your mother, and you hit me." "You are not my mother." Xiao Mian looked at her coldly, "You asked for this slap yourself." "You." Lin Huijin covered her face, almost going crazy with anger. She pushed Xiao Ruhe away and raised her hand to return the slap. Only this time, she still failed to do so. Just as she stretched out her hand, she saw a person coming from the corner of the corridor. He quickly stepped forward and grabbed her hand. When she saw the person who stopped her, Lin Huijin's expression changed, and she took a step back in surprise and fear. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1366. Chapter 1366, It's Better to Die. Xiao Mian was also surprised when she saw the man next to her. "Mo Yesi, why are you here?" Mo Yesi did not answer her words. He looked at Lin Huijin with cold eyes, let go of his hand, and pushed her aside in disgust. He took out a handkerchief from his bag and wiped his fingers with little force. After wiping, he threw the handkerchief into the trash can aside. The man's cold gaze first stayed on Lin Huijin for a few seconds, then turned his head and looked at Xiao Ruhe, who was standing next to Lin Huijin. "Father-in-law, you just watch that crazy woman next to you bullying your daughter and don't do anything about it." Mo Yesi's eyes were cold and his voice was also cold. He directly called Lin Huijin a crazy woman. Lin Huijin's face changed after hearing this, and the expression on her face became ugly. Xiao Ruhe's face didn't look too good. She pursed her lips. After a moment of silence, she said in a deep voice, "Since you call me father-in-law, you should know how to call Huijin. She is your mother-in-law, and you are too disrespectful to her." "Mother-in-law?" Mo Yesi seemed to have heard some funny joke, and there was no warmth in his eyes. "She doesn't deserve it." "You." Lin Huijin lost face again and again. She didn't dare to say anything to Mo Yesi, so she turned her head, grabbed Xiao Ruhe's arm and complained bitterly, "Old Xiao, look at how your daughter and son-in-law bullied me. I was bullied. If they bully me to this extent, they might as well just die. What am I still doing here? This is too embarrassing." As she said that, she let go of her hand and looked like she was going to hit the wall. Xiao Ruhe grabbed her anxiously and angrily, "What are you doing?" Lin Huijin started crying with runny nose and tears. She pulled Xiao Ruhe's hand away and sat down on the ground. She acted like a shrew, and started acting up while sitting on the ground. "I don't want to live anymore, I don't want to live anymore. And Xin and I have been bullied like this, and if you don't help us, what else do I have to live for? I might as well die. Why are you stopping me? Just let me die. Lin Huijin was originally from a bad background. She and Father Jiao met in a bar. At that time, she was selling alcohol in the bar. It can be said that she used some scheming to get to know Father Jiao and later asked him to marry her. What are you doing? Get up quickly. Jiao Ruhe frowned and reached out to help her, but Lin Huijin refused to get up from the ground. She sat on the ground and cried loudly, I don't want to live anymore, I don't want to live anymore. This was the first time that Mo Yesi saw a woman acting like this. This woman is still his nominal mother-in-law. His brows were furrowed and his eyes were full of disgust. Even though this woman was just his mother-in-law in name only and he had never admitted it, he was still disgusted. Jiao Ruhe also feels that Lin Huijin's current state is really embarrassing. Although there are not many people coming and going in the hospital area here, people do pass by occasionally. It would be really embarrassing if someone saw it. When he first married Lin Huijin, Jiao Ruhe knew that she was not as good as his first wife. He also knows what bad habits Lin Huijin has. No one is perfect. He feels that as long as it is not a big problem, he can accept it. But at this moment, Jiao Ruhe really felt extremely embarrassed. Although he also dislikes Lin Huijin's behavior, Lin Huijin is his wife after all. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1367. Chapter 1367. Don't push your daughter to a dead end. Thinking of what Mo Yesi had just said and the slap Jiao Mian had just given Lin Huijin, he frowned, raised his head, and said with anger, what are you doing? Do you really want to force her to death? Mian, your Aunt Lin is your elder, how can you do something to her? You are so shameless. Even if you don't like her, she is still my wife and your stepmother. How can you do this to your stepmother? At this moment, Jiao Mian felt extremely cold towards Jiao Ruhe. He was there just now. He clearly saw that Lin Huijin made the move first. If she hadn't stopped him, Lin Huijin would have slapped her in the face. Mr. Jiao, I think you made a mistake. Mo Yesi looked down at the sad and hurt eyes of his young wife beside him. His eyes were cold. When he spoke again, his name for Jiao Ruhe had changed. The voice also became much colder. He said coldly, only those who are worthy of respect are considered elders. Some people who are not worthy of respect are not elders to me and Mian. Besides, Mr. Jiao has not yet reached the age where his eyesight is dim, so he will not be able to see clearly. Is it the woman next to you who bullies Mian, or Mian who bullies her? What I just saw was that she was about to hit Mian. And you didn't stop her. You don't want the woman next to you to be bullied, and I certainly don't want anyone to bully my wife. Mr. Jiao is not the only one who knows how to protect his wife. As Mo Yesi spoke, he reached out and pulled Jiao Mian into his arms. There was no smile on his face, and his eyes were as cold as ice. Jiao Mian looked at Jiao Ruhe's face that was red with anger, and was a little worried that Jiao Ruhe's anger would damage her body. She opened her mouth, and just as she was about to speak, she heard Mo Yesi say coldly again, Mr. Jiao, are you in trouble? I believe you have no idea how much this woman and Jiao Angzhen have done to bully Mian. Since you are so partial, have you ever thought about Mian's feelings? I feel sorry for her. She is already my wife, Mo Yesi. The Mo family, will not allow anyone to bully me. Not even her parents. Lin Huijin, this is my last warning to you, if you dare to do anything to Mian again, for bad things, Jiao Angzhen will be punished far more than what he is now. If it weren't for the Jiao family's kindness to Mian, do you think she would just be banned now? Don't drive your daughter to a dead end. After saying this, Mo Yesi stopped caring about them. He looked down at the girl in his arms and said in a low and gentle voice, Mian, let me take you out of here, okay? Xiao Mian slowly raised her head from his arms. She glanced at Xiao Ruhe and saw Xiao Ruhe turning his head to one side with a sullen face. Xiao Mian raised her lower lip in a self-deprecating way, feeling that her worry just now seemed ridiculous. Yeah, she nodded without any further hesitation. Mo Yesi hugged her and turned around. Lin Huijin wanted to stop her, but just as she made a move, two bodyguards came out and stood in front of her. Lin Huijin's expression suddenly changed, and she still dared to chase her. Seeing that Xiao Mian was about to disappear from the corner of the corridor, she shouted angrily, Xiao Mian, you are ungrateful, you wolf-hearted thing, you will be struck by lightning. You will have your retribution. Asterisk. Xiao Mian followed Mo Yesi to the parking lot and then got into the car with him. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1368. Chapter 1368. So, are you praising me? Asterisk. Xiao Mian followed Mo Yesi to the parking lot and then got into the car with him. Still sad, Mo Yesi looked at his wife beside him who looked sad and silent, and stretched out his hand to gently pull her into his arms. He placed a big hand on top of her head and caressed her twice gently, don't be sad anymore. Besides them, you have many people who love you. There are me, Chen, and Madame Bai. Don't worry about those who are not worth it. When people are sad, I feel sorry for them, Xiao Mian leaned against the man's strong and warm chest, smelling the familiar scent on his body, and her heart instantly became extremely peaceful. She still felt like she was dreaming. The clear heartbeat she heard in her ears and the warmth she felt in her palms made her feel real and real little by little. Let her clearly feel that the man beside her is real. Mo Yesi really came to F City and came to her side. But she remembered that he clearly said that he would be very busy in the past half month and would not have time to come and see her. Mo Yesi, why are you here? Xiao Mian was sullen in the man's arms for a while, then slowly raised her head. She reached out and touched the man's handsome face gently, aren't you at work? Didn't you say are you busy at this time? How come you have time to come here? Are you here on a business trip? Mo Yesi grabbed her little hand and moved it to his lips. His warm and moist lips pressed against her palm and whispered softly, I'm not on a business trip. I came here to find you. I saw Lin Huijin's video slandering you on the internet. I originally wanted to help you handle this matter, but Bai Yisheng said you wanted to handle it yourself, so I didn't intervene. You solved it very well, better than I could have thought of. Even better. I just discovered that my baby doesn't need my help with everything. You can handle things just fine without me. Hearing his praise, Xiao Mian felt a little better. There was a smile on her face, and she slightly curled her lips and said, so, are you praising me? Yeah. Mo Yesi also laughed lowly. Seeing the smile on Xiao Mian's face, his expression became a little more relaxed. Husband is praising you, my baby is so awesome. I have to say that Mo Yesi's appearance at this time made Xiao Mian feel a lot more relieved. When she was in a particularly bad mood, her loved one appeared in time and stayed with her. Even though she still feels a little sad in her heart, it is much better than if she were alone. She was in a really bad mood just now and felt very uncomfortable. Nearly burst into tears because I couldn't hold it back. She doesn't care what Lin Huijin and Xiao Angzhen do to her. But she has feelings for Xiao Ruhe. How can you not feel sad when you are hurt by someone you care about? You all know that I have solved the problem, so why do you still come to me? I don't worry about you. The man stared at her with his deep black eyes, that's why I came here. Now it seems that I should really come here, otherwise my baby will be bullied and wronged, and I will do not know at all. Xiao Mian originally felt that she was in a much better mood. But listening to these comforting words spoken softly by the man, her nose suddenly became sore and her eyes turned red. I really feel aggrieved. Are you crying? Moyesi pinched her chin and raised it. Seeing her tear-filled black eyes, he frowned. Why are you crying? What did I say wrong? End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1369. Chapter 1369. Thank you for coming today. No. Chiao Mian sniffed, resisting the urge to cry, and flattened her mouth and said, Moyesi, thank you for coming today. I'm just happy that you are by my side now. Moyesi frowned and looked at the girl with red eyes like a little white rabbit in his arms. The fingers holding her chin relaxed, he held her face lovingly, and kissed her forehead. Baby, are you stupid? I am your husband and I should do whatever I do for you. Is this worth your crying? If you miss me, I will take time to come over often to accompany you. Stop crying, huh? He pulled Chiao Mian's face. Since you see me so happy, why don't you smile and show it to your husband? Chiao Mian. Okay, don't be unhappy. Shall I take you to eat delicious food? Moyesi tried his best to make his wife happy. Would you like to eat hot pot? Sure enough, Chiao Mian's attraction was quickly attracted by delicious food. Her eyes lit up. Can you eat hot pot? Isn't there a Mandarin duck hot pot? I can have clear soup, Moyesi said, and took out his mobile phone to call Wei Zheng and asked him to check which hot pot in F City was delicious. Wei Zheng is indeed a master of all things. He quickly found several hot pot restaurants with good reviews and sent the names and addresses of the restaurants one by one to Moyesi's mobile phone. Moyesi checked the navigation and picked the nearest one. Asterisk. 10 minutes later. Moyesi took Chiao Mian to a nearby hot pot restaurant. It is not a particularly famous restaurant, and the decoration is not very high-end. The several hot pot restaurants Wei Zheng checked are all local time-honored hot pot restaurants, with average environment but very authentic taste. Chiao Mian especially likes to eat in restaurants like this. Before she got out of the car, she thought to herself that Moyesi was keeping a low profile today and didn't drive any Lamborghini or Bugatti. He drove a black Bentley. Although it is also a luxury car, it is already quite low-key compared to his sports cars that cost tens of millions. Wearing a mask, Chiao Mian was led out of the car by Moyesi. Today is not a holiday, and it is daytime, so there are not many people eating in hot pot restaurants. Wei Zheng had already reserved a private room for them in advance. After the two of them entered the store, a waiter came forward to greet them. Moyesi reported the name of the reservation, and the waiter led them to the private room. In the hall, there were several tables of people eating. When Moyesi and Chiao Mian first walked in, the girls at the table closest to them immediately noticed Moyesi. When several people's eyes fell on Moyesi, they all exclaimed softly. Wow, so handsome. The man in the black shirt is so handsome and stylish, isn't he a celebrity? He's so handsome. It looks unfamiliar. If he is a celebrity, he is probably a newcomer who has just entered the industry and is not famous yet. He's so handsome, he will become famous sooner or later. I really want to take a photo with him and ask for his contact information. Okay, don't be a nymphomaniac. Didn't you see that this person is married? Although the girl next to him is wearing a mask, you can tell that she must be very beautiful. Why do I feel that the girl next to him looks familiar? I seem to have seen her somewhere. It looks familiar, I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. Do you think that girl wearing a mask looks like that little newcomer named Chiao? I'm thinking about calling her. Yes, I remembered, her name is Chiao Mian. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 1370. Chapter 1370, Not as important as my wife. Chiao Mian Mian, that newbie that my husband Chin Han pays attention to, damn it, I think she looks like her too. If she is Chiao Mian Mian, then the guy next to her is her boyfriend, damn it, her boyfriend is so young and handsome, isn't he really a bad old man? No one has ever said that her boyfriend is good looking, but no one believes it. Asterisk. Chiao Mian Mian hasn't had hot pot for a while. When she was in Yunchinj, it was because Mo Yesi didn't like to eat, so she rarely ate. When she got to F City, she wasn't familiar with the territory yet, and there was no suitable person to accompany her, so she didn't go. She has always felt that the hot pot in Yunchinj is the most authentic. Unexpectedly, the one in F City is not bad, and the one Wei Zhang found tastes very good too. Not inferior to the hot pot restaurants in Yunchinj. She doesn't have to eat as much as other female stars, and she has a very enviable physique that doesn't make her fat. She can eat whatever she wants. Mo Yesi has never been interested in hot pot, but Chiao Mian Mian loves it, so he came with him. Chiao Mian Mian enjoyed the meal very happily, but Mo Yesi didn't use his chopsticks much. He likes to watch Chiao Mian Mian eating. Seeing her happily eating makes him feel satisfied. Asterisk. Food can indeed heal people. After finishing the meal, Chiao Mian Mian felt much better. Mo Yesi also felt that her mood was much better. He reached out and touched her head. Are you feeling better now? Is there anything else you want to eat? I'll go eat with you. Don't you have to go back? Chiao Mian Mian put her hand on his palm, and Mo Yesi led her out of the box. He curled his lips and said, I've already been delayed. I won't go back today. Chiao Mian Mian, what about your company's affairs? Did your visit today delay a lot of things? Some things have been handed over to Wei Zhang, and some things have been handled by the vice president. If you haven't finished it today, you can just work overtime for a few hours tomorrow. Chiao Mian Mian really liked Mo Yesi accompanying her. But that is without delaying his work. Hearing him say that he would have to work overtime tomorrow, she felt distressed and felt bad. Okay, honey, this isn't the first time I've worked overtime. Don't look at me with such sorry eyes. Mo Yesi led her out of the box, his voice was low and gentle, it's me, I missed you and came here to see you voluntarily. I said that work is important, but no job is as important as my wife. I'm already here, let's have fun. Don't let some small things affect your mood, eh? Chiao Mian Mian sighed. It was true that she felt sorry for him, and it was true that she felt sweet in her heart. What does it feel like to be pampered by someone who cares about you? Probably it feels like you will be so happy that you will be bubbling over. You will feel that all the happiness in the world lies in you alone. Are you really not going back today? Yeah, Mo Yesi nodded. Then, as if he thought of something, he frowned and pretended to be displeased. You don't want me to stay here? Or do you already have an appointment tonight? Chiao Mian Mian, nothing. Mo Yesi then asked, do you want me to stay? Chiao Mian Mian. Mo Yesi held her hand tightly and let out a low, pleasant smile from his throat. Okay, since you want me to stay so much, I won't leave. End of this chapter.